now I'm going to pick these black currants. They're not all ready yet. You can look over there, there's masses over there, but most of those are still not ripe enough. But this little bush here looks like it's ready to crop, so I'm going to take these off now. I'm going to pick these white currants. They look mainly ready to me. Can you see they've got that pink, absolutely beautiful pink tinge. They've got that pink orangey tinge inside. That means they're ready. They're incredibly delicate. There's not, I mean, there won't be that many of them because they're so light and tiny.
We've got a couple of bushes of them though.
Well, I will make some preserve with them, and I don't know if you remember a few years back when we first moved here, when we first bought the chateau, we had so much fruit that first year.
Yeah, I do remember.
We had so many white currants, and I did make some lovely white currant jam, which we used all of it up, and we served it with cheese. And I remember making these little parcels with camembert or brie and this lovely white currant jam. Hi there, it's Belinda and Lee behind the camera.
Hello.
From Chateau Mareuil. Hi, how are you all? So you all have just seen me up in our potager picking some fruit, some currants from our bushes up there. In a previous episode, you'll have seen us picking cherries. I just want to refer to the cherries briefly. If you remember, we didn't think we had any. We thought we had about half a kilo. I produced a small box. I made a cherry clafoutis dessert, which we presented to our friends, Mike and Di, Joan and James, and it was Di's birthday, and we used it as a birthday cake, and I thought that was it. Lee, what's happened to the cherries?
Well, the cherries are the gift that keeps on giving, I'm afraid. And
gone
Belinda's
mad.
had me this week up a ladder for most of the week collecting
Literally.
cherries so that the birds don't get them. And I don't mind the birds having one or two, but it seems to me that the best ones are right at the top of the tree.
They're so high up the top. Literally, Lee, you'd need to hire the cherry picker and your
I'm
friend
not going
Steve
up in a cherry picker
to get the
again.
rest of the cherries. So, but we have managed. I think I've got 6 kilos in the fridge at the moment. I honestly think that I'm going to have to freeze most of them. They will need to be stoned before they're frozen, because if you can imagine, once they're frozen, the flesh goes a bit soft, and to try and actually get the stones out of them at that point would be an absolute disaster. So Lee, I think there's a job for you there. 6 kilos of cherries and that cherry stoner gadget you've got, you'll be sat there doing that for ages. But one thing I have
I thought you was going to say about my flesh going a bit soft. I'm going to say, far from it, dear girl.
One thing I have made, would you like to try some, is a delicious, look.
Oh yeah.
Look at that, cherry
yes.
sorbet.
Oh yes, it's normally accompanied by a liqueur.
Yeah, not now, mate. It's too early in the day. So I'm just going to...
Drat, that's put paid to that then, isn't it? I have my spoon and I have my sorbet, but what I don't have is any liqueur to go with it.
Oh, sorry about that.
Because I've been told that that's not allowed.
So do try the sorbet. What
to.
I've done, I did put some creme de cassis in it. Not creme de cassis, creme de cerise. You know the creme de cassis is the black currant, delicious sort of alcohol.
Lovely.
Is that lovely?
Yeah.
It's
Well,
got some texture
Tell you what's
to
really,
it.
I was going to say, it's got quite a lot of texture in this.
Yeah.
Normally when you have a sorbet, it's just like ice with a flavour to it. But this has actually got
That rhubarb
texture.
sorbet, which has gone now, we served that to guests, didn't we? We served that as a palate cleanser in between the first course and the second course. Could you?
This would be ideal.
Do you
for
think
that.
so?
Absolutely, yeah.
So enough about cherries. I've had enough about cherries.
I certainly have had enough about cherries.
So-
Not even tasting them, it's just the picking of them that's doing me in.
So today we're going to talk about currants. We're going to talk about red currants.
Do they grow at low level? Because I'm not going up ladders
White
balanced on
currants,
lawns anymore.
you know they grow at low level, and black currants. We've got more black currants than anything else, and today's recipe is going to feature black currants. But I just want to talk briefly about the other currants. Lee picked a couple of 100 grams.
Undercurrants or overcurrents?
Undercurrants. Fruity currants.
Fruity currants.
Lee picked a couple of 100 grams of red currants from the wilderness, which is at the back of our cottage. I wouldn't go round there because it's literally shoulder high with grass and ticks and goodness knows lizards.
Yes, I got sent there. I got sent there on a mission.
So he picked a couple of 100 grams of
Lizards,
red currants,
snakes,
which are in the freezer, and I think I'm just going to make a sauce to go with pork or ham, just like a red currant sauce, which would be very nice. And now to the white currants. There weren't so many of those. There's a few more left in the garden, I think, aren't there, Lee?
Yeah.
Aren't they pretty?
Something for me to pick when I've got nothing else to do.
So delicate, and that lovely little pink tinge you can see to some of them. What I did make was what I promised to make, was some jam, which is here. And actually what I did, I had some white currants in the freezer, at the back of the freezer from last year, would you believe, which I found. And I literally combined them with what I picked the other day, and I made this jam.
Let's have a look at the jam, Belinda.
So look, can you believe that colour?
No, I'll tell you what I didn't understand.
Look at that.
Right? What I thought, it was going to be white.
I think it's actually incredible. It's the most beautiful.
Put white. Look, put that next to the
pink.
berries. Look,
I know.
You put white berries in,
and you get
you've
pink
got
jam.
pink jam without a crocheted hat.
And as I said,
to notice.
That will be delicious. That's a different type of preserving jar with a rubber seal. I'm
thinking you're making an excuse as to why you've not made
I'll
a
talk about the crochet hats later.
All right, please do.
In another chapter. So what I am going to do with that lovely white currant jam is serve it with cheese, as I said I would. I make a lovely little brick, like a phyllo brique pastry parcel with cheese and white currant jam. Delicious. So now to the star of today's show, which is black currants. That is a mere fraction of the black currants that we have here at Chateau Mareuil. I have another couple of kilos in the fridge, which I need to do something with very quickly. And Leah, I would say we've probably got that much again or more still to ripen and pick in the potager, wouldn't you say?
Yes, and I'd just like to add to anyone that's watching this that I was forced out in the pouring rain to pick these things because Belinda wanted them so badly, and she didn't want it to get the sunshine in case the birds got them.
So what I'm going to showcase today is a recipe I've been making for over 30 years. I know I don't look that old, but I am. So that's what that's what I'm going to be showing you today. But first of all, stop laughing, Lee. First of all, I just want to show something that I made last night. And if you can you see the bottom of that?
I'm not used to photographing bottoms, Belinda, but I'll have a go. There you go. Yes, I can see
the black currants in the bottom.
I can see the bottom.
So
yes.
Literally, I did a bit of an experiment last night with a few odd black currants that I had left over after weighing them into the kilo bags, and I made a tart in the style of the tarte tatin I made. Do you remember, Lee? I made that rhubarb tarte tatin.
Yeah, it was lovely.
But I made this in a slightly different way in the oven. What I'm going to do now is warm it up, put it in a warm oven, which I've already got heating for the dessert I'm going to make.
Oh, you don't want me to put the oven on for you?
The oven's already on.
Oh, okay.
It's what I did earlier. I'm going to warm this through.
I thought it was a bit hot.
And then, when it's nice and warm, I'm going to see if I can turn it out, and if it looks any better than that rhubarb tarte tatin that I made a few weeks back. Today's recipe is an almond fruit torte, basically. Again, something I've been making for a long, long time. Typically, I make this with raspberries, usually frozen raspberries actually, because where we used to live in Kent, there wasn't quite such an abundance of fruit as there is here at the chateau. So I would typically use frozen fruit, or you can use those frozen fruits of the forest that you get with cherries and blackberries and different types of currants mixed together in a freezer mix. So either of those will do, but today I'm going to use black currants. I promise you, once you've made this, there's no going back, and this will be your go-to dessert or cake forever. So be prepared. I've made this recipe so many times, I know it off by heart. I don't need to look it up at all. It's so simple. It's 150 grams of sugar, 150 grams of self-raising flour, 150 grams of ground almonds, 150 grams of butter, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, and half of those, that's 250 grams of fruit. Today I'm using black currants. And with the other 250 grams, I'm going to tell you what you can do with those a bit later on. Basically, all these ingredients, everything except the fruit, goes in the food processor all together at the same time. It couldn't be easier.
Tip it in then, let's just tip it all in.
1, don't waste any. 2, 3. I think I'll put the egg in next.
Oh, so there's no particular order then? You just bung it in and
put it
whenever
all
you
in.
want?
Put it all in. The thing is, you've got to make sure the butter blends quite well. And actually, this is a bit hard. So come back in a minute because I'm going to actually chop this up. I've chopped it all up. I'm going to pop that in. Try and...
So that's in quite small
It's in quite
cubes.
small pieces. Otherwise, you'll risk really as it whizzes around the processor. That's a very technical term, whiz. It'll... Ooh. Don't worry, I'll just clean the table, it's fine. It'll end up in a sort of buttery clump, which you certainly don't want. You want it well blended. I'm also going to pop in 1 teaspoon.
You certainly don't want a buttery clump, especially around the back of the head.
That's useful. Look, that won't
painful,
go in
I
there.
would have thought, a buttery clump around the back of the head.
So I'm going to do 2 half teaspoons of cinnamon. You'll note I'm ignoring what you're saying.
Well, I noticed that, but that's normal. I've never known you to take any notice of anything I've ever said.
There we go. I'm going to whiz this in the food processor for a minute or so, see how it goes. Looking quite good. I'm just going to check it's all blended.
Should we have a look in that? And just have a look inside, see what it looks like. It's blended.
Can you see?
Yeah, it looks a bit
It's like a sort
lumpy
of damp, crumbly mix. I'm going to pop it in the base. Now this is she put it in without
Is that
showing
greaseproof
you.
paper
This
you've
is
got in there?
a loose bottomed flan dish, which is buttered with greaseproof paper, which is also buttered, and it's about, this flan dish is about 23 centimetres.
So all you've done is put like greaseproof paper in there and put butter around it.
Yeah, just you butter the flan dish first of all, and then you.
And what's the point of a loose bottom?
It's a loose bottomed flan dish.
Is that to make it easier to get the stuff out?
It's easier to get out, basically, when it's cooked.
Oh, I've got that.
So I'm just going to use a fork to tamp this down. Can you see?
Yeah, you need a whacker plate.
Do you know what I do? Yeah, I do need some water actually in a little dish.
Oh, I can get you that.
Could you get me some water?
Yeah, sure.
There. So what I'm doing, I'm just flattening out.
Let me just have a look.
I've taken just over half of that mixture because you want a good solid base.
It's got all fork marks in
Yeah,
it.
I've just tamped it down with a damp fork like that, just to push it to the edges. You see, like that. Oh. So then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take half of these black currants. I'm going to weigh out 250 grams of these.
Right. What, and they just literally go in
just chuck those on top, basically.
Chuck them on top. There's a nice cookery term, isn't it?
For you. There we are.
Just chuck them on top,
grams. Then chuck them on top like that.
Bish bash bosh.
Move them around.
Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt.
You don't want too much because obviously, if you have too much fruit, it's going to be too wet. It's all going to ooze out, and will be a horrible sticky mess. But that's about right. I might chuck a few more in actually. Fill up those holes. Since I have so many of these black currants.
Yeah, I was going to say, use them
I have no fear of running out.
Look at that. That actually looks quite nice the way it is. Yeah, I was just.
And then I'm going to put the rest of the mixture on top. Literally, I'm going to take great care not to chop my hands on the food processor. So literally, just scoop that all on top.
Now let's just see what you're going to do.
I'm just going to, might use my hands actually, crumble it over the top. Because you want the fruit showing, because that looks nice to see the darker ruby colour of the fruit coming through. like that. It's like a sort of crumble top, really.
What do you call this dish?
It's a almond cinnamon torte. I've crumbled the rest of the topping on top of the fruit. I'm just going to now flatten it slightly with a damp fork.
I've got to say, you're making it look very easy. I feel confident enough to do it myself, actually.
This is so easy, says she. Do you know what I've probably done? I've probably over-fruited it, and it will probably be all sticky.
I don't mind over-fruity, I can tell you.
Over-fruity.
Over-fruity.
But it's better than under-fruity,
This is not your standard kitchen here at Chateau Mareuil. It's an unusual over-fruity kitchen.
So that's going to go in the oven at a preheated oven to 160 degrees fan. I'm now going to get the tart from the oven that I popped in earlier to warm through, and we'll see how that turned out. So I'm going to swap tarts, so to speak.
Swapping tarts? It's all going on here this morning,
tarts
isn't it?
At Chateau Mareuil.
Yeah.
So let me take this one out.
I can honestly say I don't think I've ever swapped tarts at all. There you go.
Oh, it's all, look, it's all bubbling. Pop that one in, like that. And that's going to be 45 minutes, which we'll need to time somehow.
Let's
I'm going to take this over and turn it out.
Let's have a look. See what it looks like. Oh, actually, that looks really good.
It smells gorgeous, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Pop it
Once again, we need smell vision.
And I've got this plate here, which actually, it's very, very handy. I've got several of these. These are microwave plates that come with microwaves. So when you don't need your microwave anymore, you might actually find the flat plate that comes out of the bottom quite handy. I use them all the time.
Nothing gets thrown away here, I can tell you.
I'm not sure this plate's big enough. I've just popped it on the... Look, if I pop it on there, Lee, what do you think? It might just do it. Or it might shoot over the edge. Shall I give it a go?
We've had worse kitchen disasters, Belinda, haven't we? Yeah, I mean... This is real. Hey, not bad. Not bad.
You see the juices come out. I knew that would happen.
No, it's all right. No, it's okay. It's a little bit flipped on the side, but go on, take the top off it.
I can see there's apples stuck to the bottom.
Oh, we've had this problem before as well. There we go. Oh no! Look, no, don't knock it. That's really, really nice.
Let's get a spoon. So I literally, boys and girls, I made this with a couple of...
God, you can see the steam rising.
Well, there's a couple of leftover apples in the fruit bowl and a pear that was languishing, and just those odd black currants. And do you know what? That's not bad, is it? So this tart, which actually I'm really pleased with, I think it looks great and it smells...
Does smell good.
Yummy as well.
Yeah, it smells really good.
I deem this to be a success. So literally, although it doesn't have the caramelisation of a tarte tatin, it looks very similar. It was very simple to make. Literally, I chucked about 50 grams of butter in that oven-proof flan dish and let it melt. And then I chucked in the fruit with 50 grams of brown sugar, actually, because that's what I had, in the bottom, and put it back in the oven just for a few minutes, just to soften up a little bit. I had a packet of pâté brise, which is a short crust pastry, and they come round very helpfully, come in a round shape. I popped that on top, folded the edges up a little bit, and popped it in an oven for about 25-30 minutes. Did that last night, and as you can see, I warmed it through this morning and just turned it out, and that looks like a lovely dessert to me. Since I've started doing these kitchen workshops, most of you will notice my little sort of brand ID for my jam.
The crocheted hats have come back.
I don't know how this happened. I don't know how it started. It's completely crazy. And I have been asked, quite a few people have asked if I can show how to make them. And I promise I will show you how to make them quite shortly. However, in my defence, I have been so busy. I have got so many crochet projects on the go. Just thought I'd tell you a little bit while the blackberry almond tart is in the oven about what I've been doing and what I've still got to do. So basically, I've become a bit of an obsessive about crocheted, they call them granny squares. I hope that doesn't say anything about me. Actually, I am a grandmother. But I hope it doesn't say too much about me that I'm obsessed about granny squares. I have got so many blankets to make now. I've literally got 4 baby blankets to finish in the next 4 to 6 months for forthcoming babies, which is a very lovely thing. And let me just show you, this is the first one actually of the 4 that I've started making. I think they're really pretty. I'm using pastel-ish colours with sort of pastel brights as well, but no reds, no jarring dark colours or jarring colours. Look how pretty that's going to be when it's done. So that's going to, I think that's going to probably need, I might make it with about 32 of these little squares.
Sorry to interrupt, Belinda, but how long does it take you to make one of those squares?
So one of these little ones takes about 20 to 25 minutes.
So when you say 100, that's 250 minutes.
My other blanket's 100, which I'm going to show next. But these, I think about 32 of them. I can't add that up in my head right at this moment in time.
Nice.
And then of course they all need sewing up, and you need to make, I usually make a pretty sort of picot edging. I've made 100 of these squares, but these squares take longer. These take about 45 minutes each. I'm just going to show you.
Make quite an interesting face mask.
Literally got 100 of these. If you can imagine how long that's taken to make.
Well, it's 250 minutes, isn't it?
And again, 250, what, 100
You
times?
said 25
no, these
minutes.
are 45 minutes.
Oh, they
ones.
take 45
Yeah.
minutes. Oh.
So they take a lot
So 100,
longer.
that's 100 hours virtually.
So, you know, if anyone says, oh, Belinda, can you crochet me a blanket? I do crochet them for other people, but it's quite an undertaking. There's just 9 of them. Don't they look, oh, don't think that's the cat. Sorry, Prince. But you can see, I mean, that's just 9, but how lovely that's going to be.
Yeah,
so
it wasn't lovely for the cat.
So that 100 is going to make a very nice single bed size, sort of big throw, lap blanket.
It's a very nice thing to hand down as well, isn't it? One of those.
And I do, and typically, so everybody who knows me, everyone's baby, everyone's friend's baby has a baby blanket, and if you're a bit older, sometimes you get a big blanket, or you might get a crocheted shawl.
In my case, I get a double-sized blanket.
You've got a crocheted shawl.
I have got a crocheted shawl.
I'm going to make myself
and it
one
worked
soon.
very well in the winter, I have to tell you that.
The time's just gone off. I'm going to go and see if that tart's ready. It's certainly smelling ready. So let's just check it out. Oh yes, looking good. Look at that. I can never get this thing out the oven.
Oven troubles.
Right, I'm going to take it like that, risking
Every time we do one of these, the oven or there's something with the cooker. Oh hey, that looks
Doesn't
really
that look good?
Yeah. Hey, you must be proud of that.
I'm very pleased with that. I'm going to pop that over there. Just let me close the oven door because I want to tell you about a lovely accompaniment to go with that.
Oh, an armagnac.
Yes.
Yes, or maybe a cognac.
There's always an ack accompaniment, something with an
ginac,
ack on the end.
A ginac.
So what we can do, what we can make to accompany that, which would be delicious, since I have so many black currants, or you could use another soft fruit, you could use raspberries, anything really, to make a coulis, like a fruit sauce. So I would cook these down very gently with some sugar. I think a rough rule of thumb, about 250 grams of fruit, say, this is less now, about 80 grams of sugar. Cook it gently, dissolve the sugar, whiz in the microwave, whiz in the food processor. You can whiz it in the microwave, actually you could do. And push it through a sieve, because there's lots of little pips that you don't want to eat in the black currants. And that would make a lovely sauce to accompany your tart. Maybe some cream.
Well, I think I prefer the first option, that of a cognac or an armagnac.
An ack with a coulis.
We need an ack with it.
what we're going to do, we're going to leave this to cool. You need to leave this for about an hour to cool down. I'm going to make sure, because we've got a lot of flies around at the moment, although not so many in here. We've got them in our cottage, haven't we, Lee? More
yeah,
than
we
have
have.
in here. So I'm going to just cover that, just to make sure we don't get any flies
look,
on
2
it.
peas
Isn't
in
that
a pod.
pretty? I've also covered our other apple flan, apple blackberry pear flan, I should say. And we will see you later when I will disrobe it from its tin.
If there's any disrobing involved, count me in.
Not me.
And with a nyack on the end of it.
Take it out of its tin, which is a courageous thing to do for anybody on camera. And we'll dust it off with some icing sugar and make it look all lovely. So an hour's passed, at least an hour's passed since we saw you last. And this blackberry almond tart is ready to be disrobed. So I'm going to give it a go. My goodness me, hold on. Oh, there you go. That's that bit off. No, don't laugh.
Is it going to work?
Well, who knows? I've got to try and get it off this paper and onto this plate, which is another microwave plate. Oh, that's in my mouth. Oh, it's lovely. You might have to wait a while.
Sampling your own wares before you've delivered the goods, Belinda. This is not good.
Oh, hold on. Oh!
Oh, it could all go horribly wrong.
It could, actually, it really could. But, as I always said to my daughter, when disrobing cakes, be brave and bold. And there you are. It's done. So what we need to do next is dredge it with some icing sugar.
Oh, let's see that.
Where's my spoon, Lee?
I don't know where your spoon is, Belinda.
Right.
I think you need to go and find a spoon.
I do. The spoon was already in the sugar. Silly me.
What?
I'd already placed it there earlier on. So I'm going to pop some little icing sugar on top. Ta-da. This is amazing. Any old dessert, just literally.
I think 2 cats have photobombed your...
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Just
your video.
Sieve some,
they're in the mirror on the right
some
hand
icing
side
sugar
there.
on your desserts and they will look amazing. Oh my god, that's a bit of a lump.
I'm just sorry, I'm laughing at the cat.
How good is that? Excuse me.
Let me have a look.
Isn't that pretty?
Oh yes.
Should we do the same with this one?
Oh yeah, I know we've got this one to do. Go on, let's sprinkle that on. With no photobombed felines.
Nearly there. Actually, this is absorbing much more of the sugar
Yeah,
than the other one, but you can see
that, yeah.
that'll do.
But it looks extremely nice.
2 desserts, all done. Just wanted to say thank you once again for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this rather fruity contribution to the kitchen workshops.
Fruity contribution.
It seems to be all about fruit and desserts up until now. I can't wait for some of the vegetables to start cropping up in the potager. We've got so much up there, haven't we, Lee?
Yeah, we've got loads of really good savoury
We've got
stuff.
over 100, I think we've got about 120 tomato plants. I kid you not. I counted 16 courgettes. I think we had 3 last year and we couldn't eat them. We just couldn't get rid of them fast enough. So I really don't know what we're going to do with them all. I'm going to show you lots of ideas.
I can think of 2 things. I can think of gazpacho.
Oh yeah.
And Bloody Marys, but we don't have any vodka.
You would think of Bloody Marys, and you can't use your cherry gin in that either.
No.
So literally,
my cherry gin.
We've got carrots, salsify. I've not cooked salsify before, so that's a new one on me. We've got Jerusalem artichokes. We've got potatoes. We've got, what else, Lee? So much more.
Yeah.
So, looking forward to the next one, and please keep watching, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.